The Twilight Saga, a romantic fantasy film series that is based off the book series by Stephanie Meyer. These movies have grossed over $3.36 billion worldwide, with the first installment making $69.6 million on opening day. Fangman and Large Doggy whoop-de-doo. If you're a Twilight fan and you have stumbled across this video, I apologize for the rest. This is probably due to my age at the time, but I didn't really understand the appeal of Twilight. Even as I got older, I still didn't get it. I'm not too sure on how popular Twilight was at the time, but while I was online, there would be these occasional posts of Twilight, like this one. You don't turn into a vampire too, do you? Oh yeah. I don't want to read this. It makes me feel embarrassed. Now that I watched the movies, I know that this wasn't actually said. That's a weird thing to say to your father. Why would you do that? Ever since then, Twilight hasn't really crossed my mind until I watched another romantic vampire movie. It's called The Mortal Instrument City of Bones. What I remember at the end of the movie is that the two main characters who are like making out, there's a possibility that they could be siblings. There is also another Robert starring in this movie. And these movies weren't really what I was expecting. I've watched all the movies twice. Yeah, that's 22 hours of me watching Roar and Grr. I wanted to do like a full summary of the entire saga, but I realized that's kind of boring. There is 5 hours of footage of me talking about vampires and werewolves. That is 45% of the entire movie franchise. It's nothing spectacular, it's just me stuttering and messing up. I'm not sure if this is... I've decided to revert to the main reason why I did this in the first place. To answer my question that I had ever since I was like this. What is the appeal of Twilight? The answer is probably very simple, but I'm just going to overcomplicate it. But before getting into my main discoveries, I just want to give you the summary of Twilight. Don't worry, it's not going to take much of your time. Maximum 3 seconds. I just want to give my 25-page summary a chance and not let it go to waste. I spent way too much time on that. I wanted to dress up as someone who appears to be in the Twilight universe. This is the best I got. If you could choose, would it look like I'm a vampire? Or would I look like a werewolf? Either way, I just picked up a black top and I just frickin' went with it. So anyway, summary time. I have to use this because I can't say it on the top of my head. Bella Swan is a normal girl who moves from Phoenix, Arizona to the not-so-normal town of Forks, Washington. This is where she meets her childhood friend, Jacob Black, who only appears in the movie for like 3 seconds. The person who appears for the majority of the movie is Edward Cullen, the vampire Bella meets. After finding out that Edward is a vampire, they make out and then there is some crazy stuff that happens.
You need to see what I look like in the sunlight.
In Twilight New Moon, Edward leaves Bella and then she gets depressed. Camera rotation! Jacob has more screen time, and Bella falls for him. More crazy stuff happens, and then Bella and Alice, one of the Cullens, go to Italy, so Edward won't die because he thinks Bella is dead because she jumped off a cliff. I'm leaving a lot of details out. Back home, Edward and Jacob argue with each other, and then Edward wants Bella to marry him! In Twilight Eclipse, there is a preparation for a battle, and the battle itself. I don't know. In Twilight Breaking Dawn, Part 1 and 2, Bella and Edward get married and then they went on their honeymoon and then Bella gets pregnant! Bella then gets sick due to the pregnancy. There's a graphic scene at the end of Part 1 of the baby being born. Bella almost dies, but Edward turns her into a vampire. Jacob imprints on the baby. Yeah, okay, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain that later. Bella then turns into a vampire. Her baby grows up fast. Other vampires think that she's an immortal child, which is against the vampire law. The Cullens show other vampires that she's not an immortal child. There is a huge battle, which doesn't actually happen, and then they live happily ever after. See, that didn't really take me like 5 hours to do, but that did take longer than 3 seconds. I'll fix that. So right into the main question. Why is the Twilight series so... I'm aware that the Twilight series has the reoccurring topic of love. To be more specific, forbidden love. What is a vampire? A vampire is a dead thing. They're like zombies, but they're not as attractive. I've never watched a movie where the zombie was attractive. All of them are disgusting and yucky. Imagine living in a world where vampires do exist. Visualize yourself in a forest. Are you visualizing the forest? Because I'm visualizing a forest. There are trees, and these trees are blowing in the wind. You can hear the birds chirping. Maybe you see a worm worming. The worm is worming very good. Smell the forest. You smell the forest. Now, imagine a person standing right in front of you, and they tell you that they're a vampire. What do you do? Do you laugh in their face? Or do you cry? Or something else? Do you run away? Punch? Kick? Jump? Scream? What about pursuing a relationship with this vampire? Let's assume that you do because of the topic of this video. You see this person? He's cold as ice, but he's hot, I guess, I don't know. Why do you pursue a relationship with this person? There are billions of people on this earth, but you decide to have a relationship with a person who's basically dead. Why? Is it because that this is a vampire? This vampire chose to be with you, a boring human being who does normal human being stuff? Or is it because of the excitement of the unknown? What is it like to date a vampire? No one knows. You don't know. I don't know. Will this vampire thirst for your blood, craving it like a food that is high in saturated fat? Will they fight the urge of that craving? Or will they go through it and bite you and become a vampire? Would you be comfortable enough to turn into a vampire? What would that mean for you? The sense of individuality? The sense of identity? Does the idea of being something else, something otherworldly, comfort you? The possibility of living forever and watching the world change. The flying car has been finally invented, and you're on your deathbed. That sucks. That is a thought that haunts me to this very day. I'm gonna be upset if that happens. Now, what happens if you're not really interested in living forever? Living forever is a huge commitment. Not everyone wants to do that. Understandable. What about being in a relationship with a werewolf? Would you let a werewolf imprint on you? If you don't know what that means, according to Jacob, imprinting on someone is like when you see her, everything changes. All of a sudden, it's not gravity holding you to the planet. That description makes it sound romantic, like having a crush, having a soulmate. Jacob imprinted on Bella's baby, the newborn baby. I can't get over that. I hate that. What is happening? How do you feel about being in a relationship with someone who's strong, loyal, I guess, I'm going by dog logic, and most importantly, alive? Do you feel safe knowing that you have someone there to protect you? What about having your werewolf significant other turn into a large horse for you? So instead of riding a horse, you could ride a dog, a werewolf. Yeah, those are the only things I could think about, werewolves. I mean, what is a werewolf? A werewolf is just a person who turns into a dog. That's it. There are some stories of werewolves turning humans into werewolves, but that's not what happens in Twilight, so I can't really use that. In Twilight, you need a gene. The werewolf gene, so... In conclusion, the Twilight series has a deep meaning within people's hearts. I've been through this journey of trying to find out why Twilight is liked. It was right there, just my god, it was right in front of my eyes this entire time. People just like vampires and werewolves. See, didn't I say that in the beginning? The answer is probably very simple, but I'm just going to overcomplicate it. I had something just pop into my head right now. Coincidentally, there was a trailer that was uploaded when I was watching the Twilight series, and it stars Robert Pattinson. I was just watching him in the other movie. Oh my god. It's called Mickey 17, and I watched the trailer, and it's pretty good. I love sci-fi. Now here's another thing that popped into my head that doesn't really have to do anything with Twilight. I finally learned how to do the cup song. Well, maybe this isn't really off topic, says Anna. What's her name? Anna? I forgot. This woman right here, she appeared in the Twilight series. Okay, so I don't have any red cups or any plastic cups. All of them are glass. So I have a lamp. So it goes like... People,